Hello.
Hello?
Hello. What's up, bro?
Hey, it's the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk movies, sports, TV shows, pop culture, and it's funny, motherfuckers. With nary signs. I'm like, what? How can this... They have Photoshop. Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the fuck is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the fuck are we talking? Why is this a thing?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
With Missy.
Just let me finish my thought before you fucking interrupt me. Wrong room to ask questions.
Welcome to the party, pal!
And Mike Markadal.
I'm just glad I like vanilla boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hey, welcome to What's Up, Bro, everybody. My name is Mike Mercadal, and with me is Missy.
Woohoo!
Over this way.
Here, yeah. That's
We're a duo. We are no longer we are not the Three Musketeers anymore. We are the Wonder Twins or whatever. Where we do the activate or whatever. Thank you everybody who's going to listen to this later and who's tuning in, and it's going to be fun. We're back live. Did you know that? We're back on podcasting world.
Oh yeah, we are
after
back.
being in podcast jail for a little while.
We're no longer
normal.
guilty of copyright infringement.
Hey everybody, so we're going to be doing this regularly. It's WuBro Wednesday, and as we go to start this brand new thing, of course, Neri gets COVID.
Poor guy.
Neri also had a baby, or his wife had a baby.
The same week.
What a week. What a week for good old Neri Signs. So
Of all the weeks.
So if you're watching, listening, whatever, send him some love and some cariñitos and a little bit of sopa de pollo and all that stuff. Has he been, you know more than I do. Has he been like quarantined in that bedroom the whole time?
Yes.
The whole time.
He's watched all 6 seasons of Superstore. He's just starting Kevin Can Wait. That's what we were talking about when you were in the bathroom.
That's how we measure time now in quarantine. It's like, I'm 6 seasons into how much time.
The thing is that I watched Superstore as it aired, and he kept calling me and he's like, you remember? And I haven't seen that episode in 4 or 5 years.
Sure.
And you remember that part when? And I'm like, yeah, 4 years ago.
Yeah. Do you remember? It's like, and it's probably hyper specific because now you can watch things back. You don't really need a memory to remember things, because if you have any doubt, you could just go on Google and look up whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's probably like a YouTube video dedicated to the little Easter egg that you're talking about.
Probably. Yeah. Cause I do that with, the Winter Soldier. I mean, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I Google the Easter eggs after I watch the episode, because I don't know the context in terms of like the comic books. So I want to understand, because I know most, like 99% of the people in my life do know the comic book.
Is this just so you can maintain conversation with the people in your life?
I don't like to be talked down to, so I would prefer to have a chance to hold my own.
Oh, interesting. It's not that you don't want to be left out. Is that you don't want to be condescended to. Says a lot about the people you hang out with.
Well, that's you know what, a note for my therapist. Hang on a second.
That's pretty funny.
But it's also fun because I don't know a lot of a lot of the things that happened in this last episode were completely new to me. I gasped at the end.
Oh,
because I didn't know.
It is spoiler alert for anybody who is spoiler for anybody who is not caught up with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but it's obviously setting up this new Captain America like if you know anything about
Mhm.
the comics, you know that he goes bad. But also like they've made him like the douchiest of douchey Captain Americas.
He plays him well.
He's great. That actor's doing a great job at being like he is the America that like Captain America Chris Evans is who America thinks it is.
Yeah, it's
And
like
then this Captain America is who America really is.
correct. It's like college where you go and you learn about how the world should be, and then you get in the real world and you find like, oh, it's nothing like what I learned.
Oh yeah,
So-
that is a complex issue, and we're here to solve all the world's problems. Comment in the get
But
those comments. If
Are
you
you
wanna...
enjoying the Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Because I've heard some people aren't, and by some people, it's very.
Yeah, it's because it's not a movie. If this was formatted like a movie, it would feel more familiar. But because it's not, it feels like there's a lot of people who don't like the weekly releases and they would rather binge watch stuff. I am not that person. I love like the suspense of the cliffhanger, and then you get to talk to your friends about like,
Mhm.
oh, what's going to happen. WandaVision really set the tone
Yeah,
because WandaVision was so confusing, or like it was just such a different type of storytelling.
it was
Now-
more narrative and more dramatic. I don't think it's fair to compare either or because
No.
they're completely different
Yes,
genres
they're
of
very
storytelling.
different.
Yeah.
And they're very different, and it's going to be one of those things that like it's going to divide people. Let's get in the comments. Okay, here we go.
I
Let's
wonder.
see. Yolanda, we are caught up with Alone. Thanks, Mike. That is their time travel, their time measurement devices. The series Alone, much like Neri, is Superstore.
Gotcha.
Alone is great, by the way. It's actually super
Is it
super
comedy?
engaging. No, it's where they drop people off in the woods. And they have to like survive alone, and they send them out there. They can have 10 things. They have cameras to film themselves, and they're out there by themselves, and they live as long
For
as they
how
can
long?
until they give up. There's there's
And
one
can you
season-
pick what? Can you pick? Is this a Discovery Plus show?
It's on Hulu.
Okay.
I
then
watch it on Hulu.
no. Okay.
Why?
That's an interesting concept. No, because it feels like it could be on Discovery Plus. That's that.
It
That's why I
was
scared.
originally one of those. Yeah, like I watch it on Hulu, but for sure it's one of those Discovery Learning Channel.
So 10 things, and they get to pick what they're taking.
Yeah, like some people choose a bow and arrow, and then some people are like, no, I want to choose a fishing net because I'm going to probably catch more fish rather than hunting something. Some people are like, I want to bring a second tarp, and they have like, and they only have what they can carry on their back and all that stuff. It's a great show. It's a great show.
Cool concept.
Yeah, I couldn't do it, but I like to think that I can, that I would be able to do it.
You would hope to be that. Hey, that's Vanessa.
Hey, Vanessa, hi friends.
She just had a baby.
She just had a baby.
She's so cute.
Vanessa or Neri, hit me up in the comments to see, are we allowed to say the names of this child?
Don't know.
I don't want to cross that bridge. Neri, hello. I am just not wowed. I was in love with WandaVision every week. Very true. They're very different types of storytelling and very different visually and very different in like theme and tone and all that stuff.
Then, yeah.
It's like saying, the people who really loved Winter Soldier and then like didn't like Thor or like the difference between Thor Ragnarok and Winter Soldier. Like one was very comedy, spacey, whatever, and then the other one is very spy movie action, grounded on Earth type of thing. So
he's not
different strokes. What is they are both fruit?
Okay, so I was talking to him about this last week, and I said, you're comparing apples and oranges when you're comparing WandaVision and
right.
And he's like, they're both fruit. And it's a bit, I'm not going to tell it right, so I'm not even going to try, but it's a bit that he heard from somebody else, but he says that basically like he doesn't understand that saying, or somebody once told him that they don't understand saying because they're both fruit.
It's like because look, they're both TV shows, they're both on Disney Plus, they're both in the Marvel, they have a lot in common. They're just different in certain aspects, and some people are going to relate to one more than the other.
Yeah.
They're both fruit. Okay. That's gonna come into play a lot when people are gonna compare things. Yolanda, congratulations to
Yay!
Vanessa and Neri. And here we go. I feel bad that Neri's not here. The announcement of the name of the new science baby.
Okay.
Drum roll, please. I wish I had. Now I want the soundboard. Jesus. Lucille.
Lucy.
Little Lucy baby.
It's so cute.
Named after, of course, Lucille Bluth from Arrested Development.
Correct. Or
Mhm.
Lucille Obal.
Huh?
Lucille.
Who's that? I don't understand. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, no, it's like because there's Lucille 1 and Lucille 2, right? We've all seen Arrested Development. One of them is Jessica Walters, rest in peace. She passed away recently, and she was hilarious and amazing. And then Liza Minnelli, rest in peace. Is she dead?
Liza Minnelli is not dead, but I was talking about I Love Lucy.
I don't understand that reference. What if I genuinely had no idea? Like, what are you talking about? No, Lucy. Oh, the Peanuts. Is that the name of the?
It's the same reaction you would have every time that I say things like "I've never seen Gladiator," and people are like, "What the fuck?"
Man, I've gotten so mad at people who gatekeep things like that. Like,
I got a full-blown homework list on that in one of the episodes because there's a bunch of childhood movies that I've never seen, and they're like, "You need to watch it," and it was like 25 movies, and I saw maybe 2 or 3. I don't, you're taking the fun out of entertainment.
Well,
you're giving me homework.
Look, man, watch it if you want to watch it. There's plenty of movies that are supposed to be must watches that I've watched, and I'm just like, whatever, man. It's not. I don't care. But that's the thing. I don't know if you saw on the internet on Twitter that there was a guy who got like just blasted and ratioed to death because he posted some shit about like people not knowing, like, oh, all these new Star Wars fans, they're like fake fans, bandwagon fans, it's the same kind of concept, and they don't even know like who Revan is, right? Do you know who Revan is in the Star Wars world?
I only know
it's from a 20-year-old video game. It's from a video game, 20 year from Knights of the Old Republic, which is nowhere else in the movies or TV shows.
It's just like its own little capsule video game, and that's it.
And just some guy got it in his craw that he was gonna like be mad because people don't know who Revan is. It's all about Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian and all that stuff. It's like, or like, shut the fuck up. Like, who cares?
Yes.
Like, don't yuck someone else's yum. And also, like, if that's a barrier of entry for you that you don't want to respect them for them liking a thing, that only limits you because they're still having a great time. They don't know you exist. You're just mad for no reason.
That's why it kind of puts me at a disadvantage just in terms of what's happening, that I haven't read the comic books, but I also really enjoy it because everything is brand new. So I'm like, what's happening? And it's different because a lot of people will start like before the big reveal of the new Cap at the end of the first episode. I didn't know that was coming. So people started talking about it, and I was like, I'd rather not be a part of it because I don't want to know what happens in the comic books because it might by accident spoil something for me in the show.
Absolutely.
And they didn't understand it, and
right.
I tried to explain it, but I just let it go because
there's so much about these shows that the joy I get out of it being like, I know what's coming and it's going to be cool when it happens. And then they switch it up a little bit, but I kind of got the bigger idea. It's essentially a spoiler for my own history.
Yeah.
I would love, like, how many people you hear say, oh, I wish I could erase that from my mind so I could watch it again for the first time.
Yes. Or reading books, same thing.
Same thing. Like, and to have to experience something again for the first time is like a joy. Like that's a wish that I think a lot of people have. And when someone tells you like, oh, but in the comic book, such and such is going to happen, that in itself is like a spoiler. Like, it's like, well, why the fuck did you tell me? Like,
but and then the thing in their what they don't realize that they're doing is that they're just talking. They don't think that they're spoiling anything. They don't view it as a spoiler because it's already out there.
Because it's in their mind, because they know more
So
about
I
the
very
history of it.
gently try to explain that it is a spoiler because I didn't know 5 minutes ago, but now I do. So,
Right.
but long story short, I really like enjoy. I know it sets me back in terms of the fandom. Like I'm probably bottom tier, but I really
There's
enjoy
no
that part.
tears. There's no tears. That idea of tears is like,
Wait, can I ask you a question? Are you do you hate Return of the Jedi like most people that I know? Like with a fire
Return of the
with
Jedi?
I mean not Return, sorry, The Last Jedi.
I don't like it. I mean, it's visual. There's some of the most beautiful Star Wars-y visuals in that movie. Some of it's great. I didn't like it. I thought it was like the whole. Once like looking back on it, I'm more mad about how they did, like what the potential was. But they're
But you're not of the fandom segment that's like Luke would never do that. That's bullshit.
It's not that I'm not that is, but it's that's the movie that they made. You know what I mean? Like that's what they did. I'm not one of those guys that is like signing Kickstarters to like or GoFundMe's to be like redo the Last Jedi and whatever. I thought Rey being a Palpatine was dumb after because it was like a hard 180 from last there was Force Awakens, right? So it's going in a direction. You're like, okay, I'm with you. And then the Last Jedi is like making a hard right turn, and then someone everybody loses their mind because they wanted it to go left, and then rather than just continue on this path, they basically went left, but after doing a full right, coming back around, like it was such a long process, and they fucked up the trilogy. Last Jedi in of itself has a lot of story issues that I didn't like, but it's fine. I'm not one of those people that was like the diversity. Like I could give a fuck what race people are. People lost their minds over Kelly Marie Tran, and I feel so bad
she
for that
went
girl.
through so much.
Yeah, it was such a dumb. It was hard to be like, I'm the Star Wars guy in my family, and it was so hard to be the Star Wars guy in my family when because I love Star Wars, and then all of a sudden there's all these people flipping the fuck out and being super toxic, and it's like, man, it's hard to be a part of the group.
Well, like people were disappointed at the end of WandaVision because there were so many theories about where the big
that's
reveal.
A whole other thing. You're guessing too much, and you're gonna ruin it for yourself.
Yeah. What's the comments look like?
Yeah, let's see in the comments. There's Nary. Mike and I have a whole name for pretending you've seen a movie that everyone says you should watch. Now, this came up because both of us at one point on the show, we had been talking about the movie True Romance, right?
Okay.
And the movie True Romance is one that like movie people really will push on people. Like they like hear like, oh, True Romance written by Quentin Tarantino. It's a great movie, and I knew of it. And Neri was talking about it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it's great." Whatever. Like as speaking as if I had seen it, and then both of us realized neither one of us had seen it. We were just bullshitting our way, talking about whatever the pop culture knowledge of True Romance was.
So what's the word?
So now whenever we say, "Oh, we're True Romance," that one.
Oh, okay.
True Romance has become the word, the phrase for when you're like, when people are talking about like The Godfather 3, and I'm like, I didn't see The Godfather 3. And it's like I'm not going to True Romance The Godfather 3. Quills, what's up? The Last Jedi was crap. Oh well, okay.
Cute hated it. Yeah. Hi, Q.
I mean, like I'm not going to say okay. This goes back to another thing of Neri and I, where we went to go see that Fantastic Four, and we did the Mystery WuBro Theater, the very first one, where it was like, oh, we had a good time. Like it was a fun time. And I don't like to say things are good or bad anymore. I say I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I was a waste of my time. I didn't have a good time.
Got you.
Because that is like
that's a fair review.
I'm speaking my truth. My truth.
Got you.
Stephanie Mayer Sr. just tuned in. But if anyone has covered the waste of Fiend's character, yes. Absolutely. No, Finn, absolutely. And John Boyega has gone on the record to be like, fuck those motherfuckers. He was supposed to be like a hero, and he's just
They
like some
totally threw them to the
ancillary.
side. Yeah.
Yeah. They made
The focal point became who Ray is and that whole will they won't they aspect that people are so mad about.
So not what I was wanting. I just was like, who wants this?
I was
But
fine with it until when we were watching the Rise of Skywalker and spoiler alert, they kiss a girl in the theater. Remember movie theaters? Remember going to the movies?
oh, they're opening up again soon. I'm very excited.
Cannot wait. I got my second shot on Monday, and that's like one of the first things I want to do.
Oh, hell yeah.
We're watching it, and when they kiss, somebody in the theater like a very loud goes, "Ew!" The whole theater lost it because it was such an
it was like
audible like
what where everyone like I remember being in the theater and there was like an you could feel it in the room about people going what
it's
like confused like just like wow.
I didn't think there was like that kind of there was definitely tension, but I didn't think it was that.
I'm gonna tell you right now, as a Chewbacca lover and somebody who is part Wookiee and like identifies as a Chewbacca,
got you.
My Patronus would be a Wookiee if it could be cross universes.
Okay.
If they would have done like if they should have killed Chewbacca. Ray should have killed Chewbacca and left him dead rather than that bullshit of like just kidding. Like if they really wanted to go for big air,
like ballsy. Okay, ballsy move. Yeah. Okay.
If they really wanted it, she should have killed Chewbacca. Then it would have had some repercussions for her being evil. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Okay, well, I'm not gonna get into all the specifics. That's the movie they made. I'm enjoying The Mandalorian, and I'm super excited for that whole world.
Yes.
I can't wait for all of that stuff to come out. Here we go. Neri, but she didn't have consent.
Oh, that's the Finn kiss.
The what? Oh, right. Yeah. Let's see. He was better utilized in Rise. Was he? I don't know. Was he?
Listen, Q's gonna stay on this. So
I mean,
she's your Q. She might have tagged the other stuff in our
right. Oh, okay, let's see. This is a conversation happening in real time. Last Jedi, Neri signs because Neri is Neri.
Because why not?
Because Neri, he's not on the show right now, and unless he decides to tune in, we are the voices on the show right now. Neri
is he backstage? He might be backstage.
He's not, and if he is, I'm not letting him in. Neri, of course, will be the contrarian. Of course, but I'll be honest with you, that's his right, and there's a lot of people that think that too. You know, what I mean, there's a lot of people that love the Last Jedi, and calling it legit your favorite Star Wars movie may be a little bit of hyperbole, but
no, I don't think so.
But it's
like whatever. Just like for him, it's his opinion. But he
Sure.
does that. He thinks I like Q. We did talk about it, but what are your thoughts?
We're just talking about how the gatekeeping of new fans from like the old Star Wars people is like so like of anything, of even like Marvel or anything like I do. So the other podcast I do called Mike Contextualizes the Universe is literally the anti-gatekeeping show of having a friend of mine who was like half in kind of knows what about to welcome him in and give him a chance to talk to me, a person who's seen every fucking movie 1,000 times. About his experience watching these movies, and then I can like it's an open dialogue. The second you make like
conversation,
this is the funniest thing to me when dudes see like a girl wearing like a Metallica shirt and they're like, "Oh, you like Metallica? Name all their songs." You know, like it's such a weird like
they're territorial about their stuff, and it's like, yeah, I can listen to Taylor Swift and like Metallica. That's my truth.
But it's about like having to prove that you enjoy a thing so that you are worthy of me talking to you about. You're worthy of my space. It's like, who the fuck are you?
Well, we live in a prove it society, like in general, overall.
Not me, man. Fuck that. Quills, are we talking?
We did that.
The focal point became the super forced non-romance. Absolutely true. My AMC stock will be happy.
Mine too.
Mine too, baby. Let's go, baby. AMC, diamond hands. Let's go.
I have stock in there.
And this is we'll stop here with the comments. But Quills, no fandoms are safe anymore. I have plenty of gatekeeper stories. I can enjoy a thing without knowing it from A to C. They like women and can't find the G spot. You know what? You're at the very least, let's say they are missing the point. Hey, are you ready to welcome in from backstage? Not Nary Signs. It's Stephanie Mayer Sr.
Your hair looks so cool.
That is the coolest looking version of that I have seen on the internet.
That's so cool. I feel like you could fight crime.
I'm still waiting to go viral. It's not happening.
Could I dye my hair like that?
I think anyone can. Honestly, I just think it's one of those things. If you just go, what the fuck, everyone assumes that you did it on purpose.
Well, I feel like I would get judged more than if a woman colored. Like if a guy dyes their hair, it gets judged more, I would imagine.
I don't know.
I think it depends on the color. Guys can get away with like deep, vibrant colors. Not neon, you get weird looks, but also
why the gatekeeping? Stephanie?
Oh boy,
why,
this is
Steph,
what I
would
wanted to
you
actually tune in about.
gatekeep
It's like gatekeeping is a bunch of bullshit.
It is.
Yeah,
Frustrating.
Have you been in that situation where, especially as women, you both have probably been in a position where if you like a thing, some asshole man is going to be like, "You like sports? You probably like it, so you
think,
can."
As a self-professed geek girl, you think I haven't come into get like major gatekeeping?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
It's been my whole damn life. Sorry, I'm trying to flip myself here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the most overt version of that? You know what I mean? Like, what has been the most like, this is the dumbest and most in my face gatekeeping you've ever heard? Like, for the littlest thing.
Magic the Gathering.
What the stakes could not be lower, you nerds. Why would you want to keep someone from playing Magic the Gathering?
I
think I played that once.
I was a middle school girl who, like, one year was friends with all the geeks, right? Because I am one of them. And I was very physically one of them. Then summer hit, puberty hits, right? And then all of a sudden, the same kind of people I'd be hanging out with the very next year, the moment I want to sit down and play, like, this game they're playing, Magic the Gathering, I literally got told, like, you're not going to be into this. And I'm like, why? Like, and I was literally word for word told girls don't play Magic.
Ew.
Why?
That's never happened to me.
I cannot.
I wasn't aware that. Do I have to play this game with my penis? I am unaware.
Right. It's like rule number 3. You have to tap with your dick if you want to activate this trap card or whatever.
Yeah.
No, I've actually turned down games.
Try being a fan of Rick and Morty right now.
Why?
Right.
Because the fans are insane.
Like
there's a lot of but here's the thing. Rick and Morty always feels to me like it's like the people who are really into Fight Club, and they like, because that's more my age group, where they missed the point of Fight Club.
Yeah, like,
you know what I mean?
You're not supposed to want to be Tyler Durden.
Yeah, like you're supposed to see it as like a bullshit kind of like existence, as like see through. Yeah,
it's pointedly making fun of toxic masculinity and how fragile it can be.
Are they trying to cancel it? Like cancel it?
I mean, not really. I mean, because it is in itself. It's all about so it's basically a satire, you know, of this sort of thing. But it's like
if you've missed the meaning entirely and you take the movie completely literally, then you're probably.
But that's happening a lot. People are like backlogging a lot of shit and trying to like retroactively cancel stuff because it was toxic. It's like, yeah, but it was 1979. Like,
right, but that doesn't mean you can't correct it. You know what I mean?
But how do you correct Grease? Like Grease, I mean,
look,
like, we never watch it again.
Warner Brothers, when they released
you just don't identify as a T-bird. Like, you watch that and you don't go like, oh, the T-birds are so likable.
And then if you're a girl, you're not gonna.
Oh, how pathetic. Like,
Did she
Correct.
put up a fight? Pause. Everybody shut the fuck up. What did you say, Nikki?
Yeah.
What happened?
That would be a good shadow casting.
But it's happening a lot also in like
Also, Kaneki
formerly
gets replaced mid-cast because he was canceled out. Like that would be a great.
that was
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
They just reshoot.
Like every
Like when they
time one says something problematic, you replace them. Like
Yeah.
the person literally walks on stage and they're like,
Just that song, actually, because he still has
Yeah.
to go through their pregnancy scare. He has to be part of that.
And then
Yeah.
but it also happens anytime I think it goes back to this kind of idea that like I remember very clearly when I was a kid, you could only be one thing. You had to be the sports kid or the
Yeah.
TV kid or the video game kid or the you could only be and you don't do something that's for girls. The girls can't do something that's for boys, and it was divided in that way. And a lot of that has continued past the relevance of that. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter anymore. We're all okay with like I told a coworker, I have my two beautiful nieces. They're lovely. They were monsters, but now they're very cool. And I love them. They're great, super smart. They're so bright. And I make it a point not to tell them anything or reinforce anything about their appearance, and I'd speak to them like an adult, like I would an adult person. And I would tell them about, oh my goodness, you're working so hard. Look at, oh wow, what a great job. That's like how smart. Oh my goodness, that's so smart for you to think that way. What an interesting, like I don't want to talk about they'll get that from their mom and my mom as much as whatever. But
right.
I got them a bunch of science things, and I got them journals and paints and art supplies. But I had gotten them this cooking thing. And someone at my job was like, oh, you want to like reinforce the stereotype of putting girls in the kitchen. And in my mind,
independence. Look, honestly, if you give it to your like a guy as well, like a boy as well, then yeah, give it to the girl. Like,
no.
I would
It's
also give
a
cookie.
science. It's a science experiments that you can eat. Book.
Oh.
True.
Like cooking is just science that you can digest. That's all cooking is.
Science you can taste.
And also, who cares? Like, yes,
Cooking is something you need to learn.
Yeah, women belong in the kitchen, men belong in the kitchen, non-binary. Everybody belongs in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Because that's where the food is, and we all need to feed ourselves.
Correct.
And it's like it's just like a weird, like, again, there's the barriers for what is allowed to happen, I think, is lingering on. You see it a lot in the D&D community and all of the like tabletop game community, because they're like, these old nerds were excluded. It's the same reason that like the Republicans who are like, I paid my student loans, they shouldn't forgive the student loans kind of vibe, where it's like
oh, I suffered, so why like everyone else should do what I did. And it's like, just
it's like, why should more people like, if you think that other people should suffer because you suffered, you have not healed from you know what I mean? Like you're fucked up. Like you're fucked up about that. Let's jump into some more comments. Vanessa, I love quills. We love quills too. Thank you so much. Neri Signs wishes he could dye his hair. Well, Neri shaves his head, so why doesn't he just paint his head?
Like little
That's
design.
a good question.
Why doesn't he design his
He still has facial hair. He could do it.
Yeah, dye your beard, Neri. You
Look
coward.
at this asshole.
Girls don't play magic. Not with that attitude. What did she put up a fight? Pause. What do you see? See?
Yeah.
Let's see. Cancel culture folk also their own kind of gatekeepers. This is Quills. Like, you just cancel all things like this, or you aren't as politically correct, feminist, or social justice or woke as you claim to be. I disagree, but I think it's more nuanced than that.
Yeah.
And
look, honestly, I don't hate on the fact that
okay, wait, I'm sorry, I don't mean to
Archie Bunker.
Steph, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but this is a great point. I'm sorry. This is Yolanda. She's my stepmom, and we love her on the show. She's become kind of a little celebrity on this show.
We love her.
All in the Family was a doozy. All in the Family is, if you look back on it, an example of just how openly racist, sexist, and homophobic, and all, everything was back at just in the 70s. It doesn't mean that it should be emulated now.
Yeah.
Like, it's there so you can see, like, wow, we've really moved.
Point for a conversation.
Yeah, we've
all
really
about
moved beyond this.
Correct.
It's just you just have to understand historical context and social context of given periods, right? Like,
contextualize it.
there's
Yeah.
like there's one thing I actually really like, and I know it's really random, but on Amazon Prime, if you want to watch some of the old Merry Melodies cartoons, or like
Right.
just one of those like shows that matches it all together, they literally just have a title card at the front being like, all these cartoons are a period of their time. Every once in a while you'll come across something that might start conversation. We encourage you to start conversation and to watch these like cartoons for the historical like period of time they're in. I'm obviously jumping
But
around.
Disney Plus is doing the same thing. So
Yeah.
it's becoming a thing. So it's like, just take it for what it is. I think
Yeah.
I just don't like this retroactively canceling things. Somebody was trying to cancel Eminem on TikTok, which was just so much fun to watch.
Honestly, I don't think it's as serious as people are making it out to be. Someone trying to cancel, it's one teenager who thinks Eminem is dumb. Like, they're not trying to cancel
I got
one
lectured.
teenager doesn't find our shit cool anymore. Who cares? Who
I
cares on both sides? Like, on the sense of like, one teenager of all of them doesn't like a thing you like. You are getting older. No, not everyone's gonna like the shit you like.
correct.
Well,
Fine.
what I was gonna,
Enjoy
one of the
Eminem
things,
for a period of time. Also,
Right.
we know Eminem was problematic. That's his thing.
that's
was his niche.
100% his thing. What I was gonna say is that it's also like, because of the way the internet is now, everyone's voice is at the same volume because everybody's font is the same size.
Yeah.
Right? Like, honestly, like the CDC, the FBI,
Yeah.
and Kevin, whose racist uncle is his only source of information. Like that kind of that. All of that is in line in the same feed. Hold on, let me see. This is the warning that you would the cartoons you're about to see are a product of their time. They may depict some of the ethnic and racial prejudices that were commonplace in American society. These depictions were wrong then and are wrong today. While the following does not represent the Warner Brothers view of today's society, these cartoons are being presented as they were originally created, because to do so otherwise would be the same as claiming these
Love that part.
prejudices
Yes.
never existed.
That's the part I like. That's the part. The part is like, we can't pretend we were better people than we are.
Right. We can't,
Like,
because that's how we get to where we are now.
We also have to acknowledge that, people were saying this kind of stuff in public. These were this was representation that people were just ignoring a whole swath of society that now, has attention, which is rightfully so. I don't know. I think as long as we have context with everything, then it's fine. You just talk to your children, guys. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, well, look, Neri brings up a good point here. But Archie was always shown as being the backwards one. He was shown as being wrong for thinking the way he did, and he learned from it a lot of the time. That's what made the show great. 100%, 100%. But the words themselves were said on broadcast television when he calls, like, I don't even want to repeat them, but like I'm on the internet. There's absolutely nothing keeping me from saying whatever. I don't have to. My message will still get out and blah 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 blah. But like, I would feel guilty saying just some of the stuff that went over the airwaves on broadcast television, and to be fair, he was always shown as the negative, but that's because this was also in the 70s after the civil rights movement, when it was prevalent. You know what I mean? Like, it was still new to think of it as there being progress. It was still new to they showed the first not the first, I don't think, but like a transsexual person that was like coming, like on TV, like just like as a human being, not as like a joke character or not as like a gag,
Yeah.
It was just a person.
And progress is slow, but we also have to it'd be wrong to also cancel these things entirely, because then we would miss the points of progress. Like, if you cancel All of the Family, you don't see the characters' growth, and you don't see like this is the growth anyone can have if they meet people and actually see them face to face. You miss things like, okay, fine, Kirk, bit creepy on Star Trek, right? But you also first like interracial kiss. Like, you kind of have to like acknowledge certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that the thing is that it's kind of like what we were talking about with the Star Wars things. They made their choices in what to put out, and we are just reacting to the people in power who are
Mhm.
deciding the stories that are going to be representing their company. You know what I mean? It's all, that's the thing, is that it's all business. You know, it's all like Disney is not
The
like
Star Wars thing
the
just annoys me. Like,
yeah,
just,
but
look, I
it's
love Adam Driver, I really do, but so many people in their heads were just drooling over him as this, like, you know, the new white boy of the month, and all of a sudden he had to become like the starring thing in the movies, where he really, it should have been Finn and Ray, and like
Yeah.
their paths,
yes,
and
I
him as this underlying thing.
yeah,
But then also became weird romance, and why?
well, there was an
Why-
element of reactionary things happening there as well, because there was a video I saw about the music of the new Star Wars, right? And there was like kind of breaking down the score and what, like it feels different. It feels like, it doesn't feel like Star Wars. Why doesn't it feel like Star Wars? And then they were talking about Ray's theme, like you know how everyone has a theme, you know, like certain melodies represent a person in Star Wars. Like you hear the Leia theme and you immediately know it's Leia. Ray's theme had very little like definition. Like it was kind of this kind of nebulous thing. And
They're
then
trying to figure
it came out that they never had a plan for that they were never going to see they never had a plan for the trilogy. They scrapped the plan for the trilogy from after the
Why?
Last Jedi.
Oh, because of the
the
Last Jedi.
receptions. But yeah, like I'm sure they were going somewhere. And look, that's it's a business decision, you know, like they're making these business decisions, and like people want to pretend that it's, you know, a piece, like some holy relic, that these
It's
movies
not.
are some sort
Commodified.
of yeah, it's literally just the reason why Star Wars is what it is because George Lucas kept all of the money from all of the merchandising of Star Wars. That's why Star Wars was fucking everywhere when we were kids, because George Lucas sold all the toys he could, because that's how he made the most money. Like that doesn't really cheapen it for me, but it might for someone else. You know, it's all about money. It's all about money.
Oh yeah, like 100%. Like we just have to accept the fact that part of the reason that we're so nostalgic about this stuff is because it literally was part of our childhood. Because it was in the store. Anything that's in the store is going to be part of your childhood. That's it. Like it's just what's available for your parents to buy you to shut you up for another year or another Christmas. That's going to be your nostalgia.
One of the things that keeps coming up is how many people realize they lifted a ban on advertising to children, like toys in children's children's television. So suddenly Transformers was a show created to sell toys. He-Man was a show created to sell. Every one of those 90s cartoons in the heyday of like all of those cartoons was a half-hour long commercial to sell fucking toys. Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. There's a great show on Netflix called The Toys That Made Us.
Yeah. It's a really good documentary.
Great. You realize how much of our childhood is just made up of advertising.
Speaking of documentaries, has everybody seen the QAnon documentary on HBO Max?
No, but I did watch the Blockbuster documentary. We can go back to that
later. I talked to my brother this week, so that covers it for me.
Oh, no. Well, if you watch the fucking QAnon documentary, they show you who Q is. Like they just show you it's just this fucking nerd in Japan, and they ran 8chan, and then it was a guy who like apparently some guy started doing cryptic posts, and then they stole it from him, and then it just became Q, and it was that guy for like three years, and it was just some nerdy guy and these like skeezy dudes that ran porn websites. It was.
Do you guys still watch South Park?
Not
really, no.
There's like a whole little, I don't even know from what season it would be, but I don't know. My partner freaking still loves it. So like there is a whole thing about one of the fathers being like a troll online, and it that's exactly when I saw that. I'm like, that's odds are what's happening with QAnon. Like,
they did a QAnon special.
Bored ass people.
Yeah.
But trying to be like, I want to see how angry I can get, like make people.
Yeah.
And then they blew up our country.
Or
So,
just
Yeah.
you're stealing somebody's, like, they told you what to think and then
Mhm.
got you going about it. So now you're in everybody's face about it. And then now you're the asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You're the oh wait.
I've gotten into 2 separate fights with the same person
Who's
because
that?
of that shit.
We stumbled
My
into
brother
our
was just telling me
segment.
about my brother was telling me about a crazy fight he just had with you know
And
when
they
you're
come-
forced, you know when you're mutually forced to hang out with like friends, significant others.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
My younger brother had to call me venting
Vanessa
about
Steins. Yes, I know. No, just kidding.
well, he was forced to hang out with this freaking older lawyer guy, right? Who was claiming that autism doesn't exist and that he's cured 2 kids by being very strict with them, right? Because it doesn't exist, you just have to parent harder.
This person
And-
was telling that to who?
To my brother and to their mutual friends who also have,
QAnon
like, they have
brother?
siblings. No, it's my younger sibling.
Oh, okay.
So he was like sitting there trying to, like, you know, because he has to be somewhat cordial because like it's his wife's friends.
Yes.
So he had to call.
I played that game before.
And then you have that look on your face of like
Misery.
right.
Or you're
Mhm.
texting them like, can we go?
There's like a
like
forced
you have to
like,
get out of here now.
Mhm,
And then we
mhm.
found out the guy's job, and like the guy's a huge Trump supporter.
Of course.
Right.
Wait a minute. I won't hear it said. A man who has no idea about some medical condition.
Yeah, has
Ugh.
opinions about it and thinks this whole generation overdiagnoses things, and that's why there's like autistic people in the world, right?
No, we just
So
have
he's
vocabulary for it now.
Who's Trump supporter has apparently tried to run for commissioner in Miami before.
That's this guy?
Yeah. And then he is the lawyer who represents the Catholic priests in Miami who have been accused.
Okay. Where's my alcohol?
What a winner that guy is.
That was my reaction. My reaction was, so you left this pizza party, right?
Wait, so he
This
is
is the
a
weirdest pizza party in the world.
it's like what's happening with that Matt Gaetz guy. It's like after all of the we're gonna save our children from the satanic child raping eating babies.
No, but
cult.
not them. Of course not them.
But then it's like it's literally this Republican guy with his weird son that he adopted as a teenager, and then like, and then now he's like paying for underage sex and
With Venmo.
with Venmo, like the most and then they're worried about like a microchip from the vaccine. You're fucking Venmoing things on a phone that has a million microchips and connects to satellite.
You're not living off the grid, sir. Like, I don't
What
know
a
what you're doing.
fucking
You're
idiot.
in the grid.
Oh god.
But how hypocritical for this guy to be like protecting priests who rape children, and then to be like, oh well, we're the party of family values. Suck my asshole.
Yeah, all about family values. Super pro Trump, super anti vaccines. Even though it's great that Trump got the vaccine.
Yeah, like pick a side.
It doesn't like if you try to follow the logic, you just get dizzy and vomit, honestly. Like it just
I
doesn't.
have ADD. My logic is weird as fuck as it is. I have
Yeah.
trains of thoughts, and even I look at them and go, calm down.
Yeah.
Well, you know what it is? It's that
too much.
It's that there's that constant but what about, you know, that like, well, what about this? You know, like, well, Obama built the cages. It's like, what? Hold on. Are you saying that because Obama built the cages years ago, that
he had no
ate
choice?
Babies in a satanic pizza parlor basement? You know, like, what are you talking about? It doesn't make any sense. I mean,
and just because he did things that are wrong, don't make the current person doing things that are wrong any less wrong.
Right.
Well,
yeah,
difference
they're
is you
rich.
just
Of course, they're villains.
Don't put anyone on a pedestal. It's as simple as don't put politicians on a pedestal. They're
Which
just
is
people doing a job that we're supposed to be voting in and voting out. That's it.
The irony that Christianity is centered around believing in Jesus Christ, who was crucified because he was supposed to be a the Christ was supposed to be a political figure. So they killed him over politics. And You know what I mean? Like, why are we doing that now? Like, it doesn't, to me, like, make it make sense. And I don't know. It's just, I try to stay away from it. I actually had a fun interaction with my brother last week because he doesn't want to get the vaccine. And I said to him, he's a truck driver. So I said to him, you should, whatever. And then I turned to him and I go, are you not wanting to get the vaccine because of QAnon shit? And he looked at me, he goes, what is that? And I'm like, okay, so no.
Yeah,
that's not why.
Like, don't tell him what it is.
Yeah.
No, I ran. I'm like, okay, cool, bye. And I just left. I was like, bye.
I definitely look. I'm in healthcare, and there's people that I work with that are not educated enough, even in the healthcare field. They're like, I don't know about these vaccines because of the blood clots, and I'm like, I don't have the time to do the math for you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have the time to show you that 6 people out of 7 million got these blood clots, and there's no, they're just trying to figure out why. I'm not here to do the math for you. I'm not going to argue with anybody.
Yes,
it's your life. Do whatever it is you're doing, but don't expect me then to want to be around you. But but don't expect. Like, here's the thing. Like, the people who are like, oh, I'm losing my family, I've lost my job, it's like, hey, you have the freedom to say and believe whatever you want. So do we.
No,
and
the consequences.
I believe that you are an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, you have shown me to be like disreputable. I don't believe a word you say. You have no source for your facts. You're making wildly baseless accusations. You shut the fuck up. But don't expect. I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you a benefit of the doubt. I don't owe you even to listen to you. Once you know what I mean? Like, once you've said enough for me to stop listening to you, everything else after that is not valid. I can hear your baby. I can hear noise. Is there not your baby, but like, can you hear
a clickety clack?
Is there a clickety clack?
I'm in the mountains. So
probably,
potentially. But yeah, like, that's the thing is that. Yes, I don't have to listen to you once I've heard enough. You know what I mean? Like, the same way you don't have to listen to me once you've heard enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna put you guys in a headset. Maybe
I agree. That's why I choose not to have these conversations with people, and 9 times out of 10 they come.
I'm actually gonna tune out, guys, because my reception is making the audio crackly for you.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much for dropping in, Stephanie Mayer Sr., all the way from mountains unknown.
In Australia.
Parts unknown. We love you. Bye. Be safe.
I'll come again. I'll show
you
soon. I just don't want to make the audio worse for you guys.
We're good. Thank you so much. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye.
Should we do an Am I the Asshole since we've said asshole like
Yolanda, proudly Pfizer microchip. Pfizer gang, baby.
Moderna mafia over here. My arm was on fire. Jesus, that hurt.
Ugh. Boo. Vanessa also taking affront to me saying I tolerate her presence. There we go. All right, you ready? Well, let's do Vanessa gets her microchip on Saturday.
She does.
This is great. Then we can all hang out.
Well, mine came with Dolly Parton concert tickets. So I didn't get the microchip. I just got to log in for
Dolly Parton micro.
Dolly Parton, she helped fund the Moderna vaccine.
I know. She's great. She's a national treasure. She's a global treasure, and we should all worship. I would view Dolly Parton is the perfect example of what we were talking about, where when something needs to be changed, like when she had her, like, there's a awesome podcast called Dolly Parton's America.
Okay.
It is fantastic, and it shows so much about how, like, she may be this product of Appalachia, this seemingly redneck part of the country, but has made so much progress, has stood up for women and stood up for minorities and stood up for LGBT plus people. She's like a perfect example of that. And here we go. Because Am I the Asshole's about to start. Let's welcome Nary Signs, everybody. Nary Signs.
Oh, okay.
There he is.
Hello.
Are you here to be in the show, or what happened?
I was making myself dinner, and I was like, "Oh, let me continue watching the show from my computer. That the kitchen's right over there." So I didn't know anything. It was already. It's fine. It's fine. Yes, it's fine.
How are you feeling?
Today was all right. I've had 6 days of no symptoms, and I don't know if today counts as one of those days because I was feeling fine in the morning, and then my doctor called me to do.
What happened?
No, I'm messing with the spotlight. Come on, man. We're gonna add some fucking camera tricks to this.
Yeah.
StreamYard.
I guess.
No, I mean, fine. But I was gonna give you the solo.
So I didn't. So my doctor called me, and I had to go in, and I thought it was going to be for a checkup or whatever. So I was running errands, is what I'm saying. Didn't have a chance to eat till like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I started feeling like, I don't want to say lightheaded, but I started feeling like I don't know what the word I used at the moment, but I wasn't feeling great. Fatigued, maybe a bit fatigued. So I don't know if it had to do with the symptoms or if it had to do with the fact that I was running around more so than I have in a week because I've just been in one room quarantine watching.
Right. Yeah.
And then I had to eat it until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But I feel fine now. I feel great now.
The question is on everybody's mind: what part of your body are you gonna dye? Then your head, your beard. Are you gonna paint designs?
I wish I could do that and not feel like I'm doing some kind of cultural appropriations for the Hawaiian people. I feel as if I did that, it'd be like, we get it. You're a fan of. You're a fan.
Oh, you're talking about those Polynesian.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I feel like I wanted to dye my beard color once upon a time, and then I started working comedy on the cruise ships, and there was like one comedian who's known to color his beard blue. And then at that point, I was like, if I do it now, like I wanted to do it before I ever knew this guy. But then I'm like, if I do it now, it's just gonna be like, oh really? You're gonna be that guy? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Now I can't.
You biter. You're gonna be biting.
And then he passed away recently, so I don't want to be that guy.
Wow.
He does this.
You went from 0 to 100, man.
He sets you up.
He took a puck to the head. It was weird.
That's not what happened, you liar.
Not what happened. But he did die.
Let's see. Yolanda has something to say. Pubes. Dye your pubes.
Yolanda, you would like my other podcast called Mon Geek more. I really don't like being this guy.
You're the guest.
Yeah. Yolanda, you would like my other podcast Mon Geek more because of the fact that we have a panelist on there, Dave Ulloa, who we have heard this story multiple times, Missy. So don't give me that. Oh no, don't share bullshit.
I'm not saying shit, and I never give you that. I'm sorry, I have a face. Go on.
Don't look at me with that tone of voice.
He one time shaved his pubes.
Flashbacks.
He one time shaved his pubes pink. And
shaved them. He got them dyed.
I'm sorry. I said shaved. You're right. He dyed his hair pink, his pubes pink. And it was because one of his friends was studying to be a hairdresser. And so that was what he went with. And his wife was cool. His wife was cool with it.
Lie.
Yeah. But his wife was there the whole thing.
Oh my God.
It was a very weird thing. But he's still in the chat as Pink Pubes. That's been we've known about it for like 5 years.
According to Vanessa, Missy's faces are the best. Don't change it. Do you want to stick around for the Am I the Asshole or no?
Sure.
All right, let's do it. Am I the asshole?
Real quick, can we put the WuBro logo back on? Because when we share the videos afterwards, the clips, it's a good promotional tool.
What are you talking about? The overlay?
Yeah. Because then later on, it's under.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I the asshole for no longer making my husband sandwiches to take to work after discovering he was selling them?
That's already a funny fucking. Just fucking great.
He was selling them.
He was selling. Okay, so she's a woman, 33, husband, man, 37, works at an advertising company. We're struggling a bit financially because we're saving up to purchase a new apartment. He's used to eating fast food, and it was costly. He had no problem spending money daily on fast food and was doing the math. he spends more than $300 a month on just fast food. $20 daily. We live in we live in an expensive area. I talked to him about it. He agreed that I make sandwiches for him to take with him to work. That way, he eats healthy, and we save money for rent. Everything was going on well. I noticed he wouldn't respond when I asked whether he liked the sandwiches I make, but kept asking me to make more than 2 since he was hungry. Yesterday, he came home with his friend and coworker. We sat at the dinner table, and his friend brought up the sandwiches I make for my husband and how delicious they were. What a snitch! I thanked him.
Why did you say that name?
There it is.
Oh, there it is, the soundboard. I thanked him. Then he said the price was a bit much. I was confused, and I asked him to explain, and he said, my husband sells the sandwiches I make to his coworkers, then goes to buy his own lunch from the restaurant. I was stunned. I was stunned. My husband denied it. I began arguing with him after his friend left. He said there was nothing wrong with it. I told him I will no longer be making him sandwiches if he's selling them to buy fast food. He defended himself, calling this an overreaction since he's not spending money on fast food, and said I was being unfair to start an argument over this. I just walked into the bedroom and stayed there. Then he said I owe him an apology for God knows what, and he didn't think it was acceptable of me to lash out and say I won't make him any more sandwiches.
He didn't think it was acceptable.
Am I the asshole?
No, ma'am. You are not.
It kind of petered off at the I was expecting some sort of. All right. First of all, this guy needs a raise. What a good businessman this guy is.
She's the asshole. That's it, right?
What?
She's the asshole.
I think
she didn't want to spend any money on fast food, so he's selling a sandwich that she made at home. The profit must be like he's winning in this.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand.
You better watch your back because Vanessa disagrees with you. Your wife is disagreeing with you. But the idea of like so we've established that everything in an Am I the Asshole is a communication problem. So blanket statement, everyone is communicating poorly here. Because he could have said, hey, I'm getting a little bored with the sandwiches, so I sell them at work and then I use that money to go. He could have just said that. And
how does she improve her communication in that scenario?
Make better sandwiches.
I think
Mrs. Face.
Yeah.
Face, that's the best.
Yeah. Oh, well, you know what?
How can you love somebody and hate them at the same time? This is so weird.
Okay, so these are good points, Vanessa. He's not sharing the profits. You want to sell sandwiches, make them yourself. Which
wait, hold on. We don't know if he's sharing the profits because there may not be profits. Because he may sell the sandwiches for $10 a piece. That's his $20 to go get fast food.
That's true. That's true.
So we don't know there's profits.
He told her he takes the $20 and then he goes buy food.
Right.
There are no profits.
Exactly. So if there's no profit,
he's breaking even. I don't think there's a problem with it. I just think that he should have been like, hey, I think that he should have communicated better. I think that there's a problem here.
How about you look at the bright side, Toots? People are digging your fucking cooking.
He said Toots. He fucking said Toots. That motherfucker said Toots.
Listen here, sweetheart. Don't you worry.
Hey, pretty little dame over here, all right? People are they're liking your cooking, huh? Which is more than I can say for everybody.
Stop the accent. Stop it now. Stop.
I just think I don't see the big deal. People and I'm of course to the listener, I'm being completely I'm over the top sarcastic with that whole macho.
Don't
bullshit.
cancel him.
With well, you can't cancel me from unemployment. You're gonna cancel me from unemployment? Okay. Actually, don't do that. I need that unemployment. I really do need that unemployment money. No, my whole point is, yes, I'm being over the top with the whole macho bullshit, but the core of it is correct. Like people are enjoying your food. Like I'd just rather get fast food. He's not a healthy dude. Clearly, he's a fat dude. I know this because this is something that I would do. So I'm like, very much. There's been many times where my wife was like, I'm gonna cook, and my wife's cooking is delicious. But I'm like, sometimes I just want Taco Bell.
This sounds like the kid at school that would trade his carrot sticks for something and then get like a Twinkie. You know what I mean? Like clearly making bad food choices.
Would your mom would you get mad at your kid if your kid goes, oh yeah, I traded that peanut butter and jelly sandwich for XYZ that I enjoy better?
How fat is that kid?
I don't have to worry about that.
I don't know.
I
You know
haven't
what I mean?
sprung.
I was that kid where I was making some bad food choices. Where if I looking back on it now, I'm like, Mike, put the fucking Golden Grams away, please.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never made bad food choices, so
I think there's a case to be made that she's not the asshole, and I think it's because the principle of the gesture. She could have very easily said, "Don't spend money. Make your own food here, but don't spend money." And then that was it. She went the extra step and set him up, made it easier for him to not have to think about it. And he ended up, turning it into a black market fucking business deal. And that's rude because I've been going out of my way to make you food. And when I didn't have to, let's go to
some going out of your way to make me food has gotten me food that I want to eat. So,
but it's rude. It's like if you give somebody a gift and then they go back to the store, exchange it for something else. Like they gave you a gift. I don't care if you don't like it.
That I disagree with. If you give me a gift that I know I'm not going to use, I'm going to fucking return it for something I will use.
Yeah,
that's only fair.
Return receipt. They make those for a reason.
If I gave you something and you're not going to use it and you're just like, oh, thank you, and you take it anyway, and all you could have said was, oh, you know what? I don't think I'm going to get a lot of use out of this. I'll return and I'll get, I would love to get this. And I'd be like, I want you to get something that you will use and enjoy.
Okay. But that's a conversation, which didn't happen here because he didn't tell her anything. Because I wonder if he didn't say anything to her because he knew it was going to piss her off and it was going to be a situation.
He knew that she was going to get overly sensitive about sandwiches, so that he just didn't bring it up because he wanted to avoid her getting upset over fucking sandwiches.
Like how
it's the fucking principle.
Broads overreacting over everything. All these.
It's the principle of the thing.
Let's go to some comments. Yolanda, not the asshole. Her labor making the sandwich, they should split the profits. I agree with you, except for the profits thing, which we've established, it breaks even.
We don't know if there's profits. We don't know. From the post, we don't know how much he's selling them for. All we know is that there's one guy who obviously does, even though he complained about the price, he still keeps fucking buying them. So there's one, we don't know the price of it. We don't know if he's breaking even. We don't know. Like there's this whole phrase, like the profits. Like,
he said, so according to the post, I thanked him. Then he said the price was a bit much.
But we don't know what the price is.
I was confused and asked him to explain what he said. Husband sells the sandwiches I make to his coworkers and goes to buy his own lunch from the restaurant.
And we don't know what restaurant that is. Is that a restaurant that's inside the workplace? Like they have a cafeteria and he goes there? Is that the same amount of food that he's the same amount of money that he's spending on fast food? Like there's a lot of variables, and the phrase split the profits, we don't know what the profits are.
That's
true.
Know. How about this?
It's not about the money, it's the fucking principle of the thing.
Okay, so that's a different argument. Not that I'm addressing the split the profits argument that Vanessa, my wife, and Yolanda made. That's the only thing I'm saying.
Oh, he asked her to make more than 2. There has to be some profit. Interesting point of contention.
He asked her to make 2, not just
he kept asking me to make more than 2 since he was hungry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you fucking outsourced your wife for your business.
Okay.
Interesting.
So that
you're making your wife be your bitch.
No, why is that making her be your bitch?
Because he's not telling her about it.
He asked her, and she
he didn't fucking say anything because he knew it was gonna be a fucking fight, and that's why he didn't say shit.
I pivoted. That has turned the table for how the turntables. The snip snap once he asked her to make more than 2 sandwiches without telling her the truth, he has become the deceiver in more than like an acceptable way. Like him just selling his sandwiches and buying his own food, I don't really have a problem with that. But him then going back to her and asking for more sandwiches,
increase in production, so he has a better return.
Right,
profit. What the fuck?
Because she says that he said he was hungry.
Right.
I'm
only getting $15 for these 2 sandwiches. I need a third one so I can cover my food. That's also plausible as well.
maybe.
This is not like, man, he's not starting a Fortune 500 company based upon
Yet.
fucking sandwiches. Now
And
with
if
that,
he was, he wouldn't
not with
fucking
that
say
attitude.
shit to his wife, would he?
not
No.
with that attitude, Missy. Fucking A, man.
Fast forward to a year from now when it's like, "Am I the asshole sandwiches?" brought to you by this guy and his wife.
And the fucking logo's a pissed off wife. She's just like all fucking pissed off, and he's like with a bunch of money, like counting the money.
And he's fat.
And this guy's clearly fat. There's only skinny people don't go this far for fucking food. They don't. It's only us fat people that are like, whatever it takes for me to get my fucking cheesy gordita crunch, I will fucking do. Sell this bitch of sandwiches? You fucking goddamn right. Like, it's only us fat people who think this much about food. Skinny people don't care about food this much.
These are fat thoughts. We've talked about this, right? Where you have like the fat people thoughts of like planning meals as you're eating a meal. You know, like
I literally have that in my act where I go, I'm not one of these forget to eat people. Like, oh, I forgot to eat today.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it until I stood up and got woozy. Like, forgot to eat. I'm literally thinking about eating as I'm eating. How the fuck do you forget to eat?
Yeah.
Like, I'm literally planning my next meal. Like, oh man, I'm looking in 3 hours. Doing that.
Or like the joy you feel when you suddenly remember you have some tasty leftover treat in the fridge and you're just like, ooh, I've forgotten of my surprise for myself. Like, that's a fat thought. Like, that is 100% go like
I wish I could get to you. I'm trying to get to your level, Mike, because I don't forget.
oh,
I wish I could get to the level of like, oh fuck, I forgot that I had the delicious thing in the freezer. Like,
now you like leave the house and like you put it back into the fridge and you're like, the only reason I'm not eating you is because I'm physically not able to get you into my body.
yeah, like it's socially unacceptable to eat you right now, so I'm gonna wait a little bit, and then when everybody leaves and goes into their rooms, I'm gonna fucking sneak out and all right.
Well, we've solved all the world's problems, Neri. Thank you for coming out. Are you look, Yolanda's concerned. Neri, are you sure you don't have symptoms?
I don't have I don't have symptoms. I'm wearing this covering only because and then when I leave, for those of you who are gonna be worried, thank you, Yolanda, for worrying. But when I leave, I'm gonna be spraying with Lysol and disinfecting because my son uses this computer while he's at home doing school from home. So like that's all, but I'm like trying to be as safe as I can or whatever. But
you're also a symptom. You're like you're out of the window, right? For contagious things yet?
Oh, I know. Well, yes. So the window, based upon the CDC, from what I've read on the CDC, and if I'm wrong, please let me know. I'm not one of those.
Oh, they'll tell you.
I'm not one of those. I know everything about this fucking thing. But from what I read today on the CDC. It was 10 days from when you first start showing symptoms. And that first day was last Sunday. So I think I'm out of the 10-day range now. I am still quarantining myself until Friday because I got diagnosed on Tuesday. Even though I started showing symptoms on Sunday, I got diagnosed on Tuesday, so I'm doing 10 days from when I got diagnosed, which to me is just to be safe and new baby and blah 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 blah.
And you got another test coming up, right? Like you have to do another test.
Yeah, I got to do a couple. Yeah, I got to do a couple tests next week. I've been told by the nurse who I got the infusion. I don't know if you guys know about the infusion, Mike. You didn't until I told you, right? Is that correct?
Oh, I did. I know that they do it. But I didn't know that you would be like, I didn't know that you, I know they do it for critical patients.
So to the listener, there's an infusion that like when I've told people, they've been very surprised. Like, what the fuck is that? It's an infusion of antibodies, which is not to be confused for a blood transfusion because when I say infusion, people somehow they hear blood transfusion. But the moment I got diagnosed, it said, would you be willing to be part of to get the infusion of antibodies? And I said, yes. I didn't know about that. I hadn't heard about that.
I donated my blood that had antibodies in it last year because of that. Yeah. Like that was a treatment plan.
So, and then they called me from the hospital the next day. I got it on Friday. I got it on Thursday is when I got the infusion of antibodies. But I was told while getting the infusion, while setting me up, they said people your age don't typically qualify for the infusion. But it's for people who are of higher risk. And I'm like, okay. And then she literally, and I swear this has been part of my act for like 4 years but she did this for real, where she pointed at me and then made circles with her hands. I swear to God, true story. Made circles with her hands, and he goes, "But because of your
Oh God.
body mass," and she said body
Oh
mass.
my
She said body mass, and I
God.
was like, "All right, you can just say I'm fat. I get it. You don't have to make the circles with your hands." And
Fucking
I
awful.
anybody who's listening to this now and who has seen my act will be like, no, that's part of his act. Yes, it has been part of my act. And when I talk about it in my act, I make fun of my wife making the joke of like, you're gonna work on cruise ships, but they have buffets there, and that's an exaggerated story that didn't really quite happen that way. But this really happened. The RN, she was an RN. In fact, I think she wasn't RN. She was the nurse practitioner, which I think is like a higher rank, if I'm not mistaken. So the nurse practitioner was like, like shit. I was already getting it, Mike. There was no need to even explain why I'm getting it. I was already getting it.
Because it's just so okay to fucking do that to people that's what they do.
Hey man,
I just laughed it off and be like, man, whatever.
Yeah, I know.
I know
They
plenty
don't
of
care.
people that got their shit early because they're over a certain weight and they got it.
I got my first shot. The reason why all of these symptoms, Yolanda, to answer you, the reason why I have felt really good and been symptom free for the last 6 days, and then the 3 days that I had symptoms were very
mild,
very mild, and within 2 or 3 hours a day. It wasn't even like all day mild symptoms. It was very quickly, a very small window of very mild symptoms. It's because I got my first shot 2 weeks prior to getting infected with COVID. So I'm like the walking billboard for getting your vaccine. Because there's no way. I've talked to I have a friend who's a comedian, and we know him, Don Gray, and he told me, I talked to him the day after I got diagnosed, and he says, I have never he said, I've talked to 8 other comics who've gotten COVID, and nobody at any point in time throughout their COVID sounds as good as you sound right now at day 3. Like there's like, I was like, I'm fine. I'm fine. And that's only because of the vaccine. And I was only able to get the vaccine because of,
your body mass.
Body mass, motherfucker.
Body mass, baby. You're cultivating mass.
Right. All these years telling me to lose weight. Who's stupid now? Huh?
Who's healthy now?
More vaccine for me.
Antibodies for me.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I'm glad that you're okay. Do you want to do the sign off or should I?
Well, we got more comments. Do we not got more comments?
No, just that Vanessa said that was a loaded Missy, and Neri got his infusion of microchips, and and Yolanda, of course, laughing and rolling and crying tears of laughter.
This is your show, buddy. You sound it off.
Thank you everybody for watching along. Thank you to everybody who's going to hear this later and the podcast form, because we're out of podcast jail, right, Neri?
Yes, we are out of podcast jail.
I
have to be out of COVID jail so that I could go back into editing the audio, so I could be releasing the audio.
Yeah. So when you hear this, and never, you will know that we are out of Facebook jail. Follow me at Mike Mercadal. Follow at Neri Signs, or go to whatwashisname.com. Follow at Missy the Writer, MissyWrites.com. And follow WuBro Pod on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff.
GeekBro.net. You got to go to GeekBro.net.
Right, because there's more than just WuBro on GeekBro.net. There's all the shows, but let me tell you, Childlike at Best with Mike Valdez, Dosavelli,
and the Mount Geekmore podcast.
Mount Geekmore podcast.
Oh, and then you got to go to Missing Sock Network.
Yes, go to missingsock.com or patreon.com/missingsock if you want to support the podcast network that I'm a part of and doing a bunch of shows. So much of stuff is happening, and Zeros on Heroes will be making a comeback very soon.
Hey, are you going to be still doing it, the Mike Contextualizes the Universe, or are you done?
We are pretty much done with that, and we're going to set that aside until we get another universe in which to dive into, and we're going to take a hiatus. That's going on hiatus.
All right, shouldn't you? No, I'm not sure. Shouldn't. Have you thought about contextualizing WandaVision and Winter Soldier?
As Alex, my co-host on that show, catches up with everything, we're going to do like once a like month, like at the end of everything, do a drop of WandaVision, of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because he's invested now. Now that I've tricked him into watching all of it, he's like invested. So That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do like the special episode drops, and maybe do like video stuff that streams that we're gonna be doing as like recaps of that stuff. But all of that and more at wherever you want to go, missingsock.com, or just follow me. Just follow me right here on all social media or whatever. And Zeros on Heroes will be coming back, so jump on that too. Thank you everybody for listening and watching. That's how winning is done. I did it!